Hey, it's Sean. I was going to make a video today. I got the ridiculous head cam on to show you guys straight on how you can do this, but the video today is about how to make your own gospel tracts or ministry cards, which you'll find out what I'm talking about in a second. So first thing you can do is just grab a random white piece of paper. This one's a little beige, I don't think it matters, and fold it directly in half, about once like that, and fold it about once like that. This is a very rough version. You could do it better if you wanted to. Got me a Sharpie. Just want to draw a line straight down the middle and vice versa. Doesn't matter if your line is not the straightest, but straight as you can get it, good. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this document, place it in a scanner, and give a scan. Get a software program that allows you to input both text and pictures. And because of that, I can bring the scan in that I made of the borders. Now this is going to help me to know exactly where to lay out the text so that it doesn't go over the basic lines from left to right. Now what you're going to want to do is you're actually going to be designing two of these. The first one is going to compose of your basic cover, which is going to go in this top right box and in the bottom right box, and then your third or last page of text will be in this top left box or this bottom left box. Then you're going to make a second one of these, and the second one is going to have your second page of text here and here, along with your first page of text here and here. And later on I'll explain to you why it is that I am doing it that way. After you have an idea of everything you want to include in your tract, in whatever Word document program you're writing it out in, count up the number of lines that you have from top to bottom. In this one here, I have about 21 lines. And then what you do is, because it's going to go onto roughly 3 pages of text, simply divide whatever number that you got. In this instance, 21. I divide that by 3, and that comes down to roughly about 7 lines a piece. That way you can count out how many it is, copy paste that text into the software program you're using for the track, and you can get the perfect amount of lines for each page. If any page has to be short, make it the last page, because that makes sense. Now the next thing that you want to do is you want to lay out text in the software program that you've chosen, and make it as big as you can, and then print one out and let it overlap when it prints. The purpose of doing this is you can see exactly where the printer is going to cut off. So whatever printer you're using, you can measure that little distance on the end and find out exactly how much that is. That way when you're designing in your software program, hopefully you have a ruler you can use in that program, and you can make sure that you make your edges that far enough away. Now a lot of printers, like the ones that I particularly used here, seem to take off more on the bottom than they did on the sides, and this will be subject to whatever printer you're using. Now if you want, you can take the time and get a blank piece of paper and measure out all the distances that your printer cut off when you did that. And you can do that, on the sides, and I also do them in the middle and at what's going to end up being the bottom of one track or the top of another, because of course you want your text to be as centered as possible. And I compensated for the extra amount of space it took for my printing at the bottom. Of course, now that the bottom moves a little bit further up than the top moves down, you're going to have to make sure that your middle line is actually in the middle. Because if you drew that in the middle originally, and then you put that bar up there, this bottom portion is going to have a little less room than the top, and obviously you want the top and the bottom to be the same length. Now, the first time that I printed one of these out, it came out, and the beautiful thing is, you know, right down the middle it's going to be the same always, because there's your border, there's your border. It works out. Now, of course, you got to fold it the other way too. And what I did the first time I folded it is this one looks good, but this one does not look good. This one gets cut off on the top. So what I had to do was I had to go back into my software program and grab these two text bars and bring them down as close as I could. I brought them down very far, but then I noticed that sometimes the bottom would get cut off. So eventually I got to this one, which is as far down as my printer will go without cutting off the text, and it leaves a nice border at the top comparable with this one on this side. Now, if you're a part of a local congregation, you might be lucky enough to have use of some of their equipment. So there are my two copies that I have printed out on the printer, both sides. You just got to figure out how to use a copy machine that can take two single sheets and put them onto a double-sided single copy. So there they are, they're going in, they're coming out. There I am, almost dropping them. Got to treat those copies nice. They're going to be your master copy. And right there I am getting my double copies, as you see, both front and back, ready to be folded and cut. And there's my selection. Now here I am being shown how to use this folding machine here. There's my copies. You can see them sitting in the top tray. And they are being folded, and there that nice woman is handing me my folded tracts. Here's some other tracts I had that I didn't fold. I just printed them out. Here's another nice piece of equipment you can have to make cuts if you're lucky enough. Hopefully the one that you have cuts a little bit better, because obviously this blade was kind of dull, but no big deal. I was able to pull that one apart. There it is, totally done, and with a little hand fold I have my track ready to go. Another option you have is buying one of these simple cutter devices at any office supply store, and simply putting your track in there, roughly kind of just manually lining up the text as evenly apart as you can, then manually cutting it. They might not always come out even, but big deal. Then just knuckling down and folding away on your own. Now, as I told you earlier, I also have what I call ministry cards, which are basic. It's got my contact information, it's got reasons they can contact me. It's basically a purpose and idea for discipleship. So a lot of times I'll just put a little paper clip on one of these and apply it somewhere on the tract. That way they have a good way to contact you should they need to.